if you don't believe that I've been redeemed, you know the aim. Yes, sir.
Odds and nerves, how are you doing? I hope everyone is looking good, feeling good. It's been a long week. I hope everybody been striving for success on their path of success. I hope everyone's living good and making positive decisions, living constructive. I hope goals has been set. I hope boundaries have been broken. And I hope that the way that you think, you understand by this time that you had to get uncomfortable to get comfortable inside this life. Today, we're going to just do a few points telling you about starting a business. We're not going to dig in too deep for detail. You will be able to contact me. My name is on different social media platforms as far as Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you got any questions, if you're looking for more detail, more insight, way of thinking and looking at things, you can reach out to me. Like I said, today's show, we're going to give a few business pointers about the importance or the priorities of starting a business. We're going to give a few pointers in self-management, understanding, time management, priority management, and statistics and algorithms into a business, what to pay attention to for, what to watch for. Like I said, we're not going to get too deep into the subjects, but we will touch today upon multiple subjects, helping or maybe some advice that you generally didn't know that can help grow, establish, and get you running your business a little bit better. And once again, as I repeat myself, you will be able to reach out to me. I am Martin King Sparkman on Facebook, and I am Supreme Dream 85 on IG. And you can also reach me on LinkedIn as Martin Sparkman. But today we're going to cover, like I said, various subjects. And I hope that some of the advice I give or some of the insight that I give will help you along your journey and make you achieve the freedom that you're looking for when it comes to work ethic, scheduling, or time with just your basic family. Your needs, your essentials, time with your children, time with your wife or husband, the time with family altogether. So today, to start the show, what we will talk about is, what is your brand? Your brand is, what is it that your company is going to symbolize? What is the products that's going to represent who you are? And if you have a brand, and if you move in any form of a service or product, are these things great representations to who you are? Because the object is not to feel like you're at work. Work shouldn't feel like work. Once you find your purpose and what you're doing, you don't feel like you're working. You feel like you're living life. It feels like you're living life the way you want to, by your own schedule. You're doing what you want, and you're not under nobody else's thumb. Sorry about that. Indigestion. But you will be able to live your life, on your own demand. So your brand, the brand is, maybe you should look around. If you're looking to go into business for yourself, the first rule of profitability when it comes to launching a company, a business of any sort, is you have to look amongst your community or looks amongst that business place and find out what is missing. What is the missing piece to this masterpiece? Inside finding what's missing, you always find profitability, because if something's missing, that means there is no more competitors around you for you to compete with. You are supplying a demand and a need, and that will start you off as being in the basic great direction of success. So, off the top of my head, you could find numerous things missing in the world. Start by asking yourself questions about normal things. And sometimes you happen to find yourself finding what's missing. Like, do an umbrella work as perfect as it can? Do a baby carriage push as great as it can? Do I gotta eat my food, or can my food stay hot, or can my food stay colder? Start questioning your normal things. Is there a way to wake up faster? Is it a way, something that gives me more energy? Is there a way that I can read quicker, understand faster? Ask yourself, whatever is your normal activity in life, how could you amplify it into an easier, controllable, normal way of thinking and living? And how could you increase volume or profitability inside of these things? Because as a worker, you already know. The first rule is, I don't feel like doing nothing. I wish I could have somebody else do it for me. And the question becomes, how do you get into those shoes? How do you get inside the shoes? The shot caller, the one who tells people what to do, make moves, get out of the shadows of being an employee but an employer. So first, like I said, you want to identify what is missing, what has value, and what area are you looking at? What is it that you want to go into business for? And if you want to go in business for it, why do it mean so much to you? Because most successful entrepreneurs, it's because they can't live without their service or product. They understand that it takes great sacrifice, time away from your family, time away from your friends. But the more meaningful purpose of this is understanding what it is you are fighting for, what it is that you're striving to be successful for. And most of us, it's because you're trying to stop or gain generational changes, such as if you come from a background of poverty, or if you come from a background of struggling, if you come from a background of addiction, if you come from a background of any form of baggage that can hold you back in life, what you want to identify is, how do you cut free? How do you not carry them bags with you on your journey, your path inside this life? How do you change the dynamic in which your family, your friends think? How do you change the mode, pretty much? What starts and triggers a generational to go down one path? Can you be the necessary part in your family or your friends' relationships that opens doors and change the relative way of which they think or they move or do things? Those are questions you ask yourself, because inside yourself, you do have that ability. You do have that power. So you first want to think to yourself, you want to figure out exactly what is it that you don't like? What is it that will help your family, your friends immediately? Because sometimes, maybe even starting a business, it may not be a global or international company or business. It might just be an actual small enough business to maintain success within your family or your generational influence on your own circle of close loved ones. And that's a high value, because if you could launch a company and that company could supply jobs for other struggling family and family and friends, then you absolutely has changed a generational curse. You stop the struggle and the trials and tribulations that the people that you love actually go through. Now, everyone is a leader, so sometimes you have to recognize when you have to step up, when you have the power and skill to have the durability and reliability towards people, where you could carry the weight on your back to take this journey to open a door to make their lives easier, because they have never had no one else in their lives do so. So first and foremost, when you're starting out business, like I said before, recognize your brand, understand your product or your service, see what's missing inside that industry of wherever or whatever you're going into. Understand the value and importance in your decisions, because from this point on, you will change the outlook and the direction of a whole generation of your family with just your thought, will, and your fight to succeed at the things that you set as goals in front of you. And it all starts with just believing in yourself, which is something every show and anytime you hear me speaking that I am going to encourage within you, because it starts with belief. It starts with recognizing that you are enough. It starts with you recognizing that the skills you have gained, the experience you gained in the world, good or bad, still brings value when it comes to a intellectual property. because you have gained wisdom and knowledge through the journey you went through in life. And you always need to value it, because everyone on every journey learn a certain skill that sometimes we overlook, that could be the most meaningful thing to us in the way that we think, in the way that we move, in the way that we believe in ourselves. Because sometimes non-belief in self is a generational curse from people prior to us that literally has failed or struggled or haven't had the proper mentorship or guidance or advisory to get through the obstacles they faced in life, and they have some succumbed and put a ceiling on how far they can make it, how high they can go up. But I don't want you to do that with yourself, because any age, at any time, you can always change your situation. You can always do better. You're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to start. So you have to think that way, and you got to start passing that positive way of thinking onto those who's linked to you, because anything that's linked to you are links to your greatness. It's an extension of your greatness. So you want the experience of a person being around you, with you, the same as business, to be very beneficial, very positive, and don't never just criticize, give constructive criticism. Don't never talk down to someone, but when you speak to them, even when you're criticizing, be able to give them advice and encouragement to get them the right path, or get them the right answers, or establish the right type of beliefs mentally and emotionally inside that person. Because the generalization of the way that we should be thinking should not be belittling, look down, or pointing out flaws of other, because we all have them. We're going to take a small intermission. You will be right back with the king. And like I said, do not go nowhere. Sit there. When we come back, we'll touch on a couple other subjects, and you can reach out to me. But peace, and I'll see you in a second. Peace, gods and earths. You are back with the king. I hope you took this moment to get you something to drink, grab a snack, and let's get back into why we are going to be successful and why we are going to grow as a people. Now, earlier we talked about branding. We talked about, points of importance when it comes to growing a brand. But understand, all of us could be idealistic. We all could think, oh, we know what to do. We could run a business. We thought about this a million times. But see, it's different when you're actually trying to run the business. What actually happens is a dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. So you can dream of things, but it takes a rigorous work ethic that surpasses your peers in order for you to stand out. We all could sell shoes, but we're all not going to be Michael Jordan, because we all didn't sign the great deal. We all didn't work as hard to build that brand behind Michael Jordan's brand. We wasn't showing up to practice 7 days a week, working at home, coming back to work in the office, working more at home, giving up friendships, giving up family time, because we understood that there was an end game to this goal. Now you always have to pay the cost to be the boss. That costs, everything in life costs, everything. So even when you make negative decisions, it's going to cost you consequences inside this world, because you got to understand that's the price you pay for what you want to do. It all costs. If it's time away from family, if it's friendships ending, if it's relationships ended, if it's you don't have time to fraternize or socialize with the people you know or the environment that you know. It seems as if you have no life. You are going to work all the time and everything is work. And when you get home, you got to take care of your family, and your day never stops. You feel tired, you feel drained. That's when you make the decision to keep going. The reason you make the decision at that moment to keep going is because all them sacrifices and all them moments would be for nothing if you do not set a goal and accomplish it. It is not worth the gamble at all. So, like I said prior, we was talking about branding, and we was talking about what drives you, what pushes you, what's your interest. Find out what's missing in the categories in which you wish to go into business for, because that's where you find profitability. And now we're going to talk about, staying a course throughout the course of running a company or running a business or launching a business, because launching a business is harder than even maintaining the business. Because at first, we're nobodies. Nobody knows you. Nobody know how to get to you. Nobody know what you're selling or doing. Nobody knows why they should trust you, because you don't have data. You don't have a history. You don't have nothing behind you but your actual will to be successful. And at that moment is when you got to show how strong your actually is. Now, on this path, when you start in a business, you're going to run into various people. You're going to run into people who don't believe what you're talking about. You're going to run into people who don't support you. You're going to discover that some of your closest people don't believe in your dream the way that you believe in it. You're going to discover some of your friends not as good as friends as what you thought. They was just accommodating a certain type of lifestyle that you used to live. But now that you changed your mind and the way that you choose to live, do they still accommodate the positivity or the goal setting and the drive that you have to be more than that you ever known? Because those are the type of people you want to surround yourself. So there's going to be a lot of hiccups on the road. There's going to be all types of holdups. But during this period of time, it is going to be filled with knowledge. You're going to learn from each mistake. It's like being a knife. In every experience, you get sharper. You get sharper. You get sharper. And right now in life, we was moving, we was trying to cut through things with a dull blade. But as you learn and you apply the lessons you learn from each mistake, each hurdle that you face, your knife gets sharper. And before you know it, you'll be cutting through whatever you need to, because literally you gained everything you can to make this part of the job the easiest possible. So do not run from what you call failure. It's not failure. Failure is a lesson. It is a lesson being taught to you. It's teach you how you made a mistake, when you made a mistake, what happens with that mistake. And you still got to find value even in that, because your next move, those are the mistakes that you will avoid. Just applying the lessons you learn by that moment of not getting right. We won't even call it failure, of your learning curve at the beginning of you launching your company. So when you do find your brand and you do find your niche, and you find the direction of where you want to go, what you want to do, how you're going to be successful, how you're going to push yourself, the drive it takes, the motivation. You finally founded it yourself, meaning that the people around you accept it, they love you, they encourage you, you are being supported, you're at the top of the world, you're doing great. What's going to happen is there's going to become a personal, mental, and emotional battle. Now, you pushed your brand, you believed in your brand, you got the people around you to love your brand, but it feels like the world is not loving your ideas, your brand, as much as you do. And that is expected. So you shouldn't feel failure at that. What you're doing with your business, your brand, your services, your product, whatever it is, what you're doing with your brand is convincing the world that you should love me, that you should follow me, that you should wear, use, whatever I'm offering you, because you trust me. First key is make customers love you. Half the people wouldn't even know what you're doing or how you do it or what it is that you're doing, but they know that it's made by you. And that's a trusted thing. So you want to build a decor with your customer base and the people following you and supporting you. You want them to understand you are a trustworthy person and you're very consistent. And sometimes all of us is not going to be the hare in the race. Some of us going to be the tortoise. Like, I never launched the LLC until I was after 30 years old. And I was subcontracting under my own name. And I didn't understand how I was being used locally by other people who was growing their business as I was their worker. I thought I was my own boss, but I was a worker. And there was people bigger than me who would grow their brands and names. Because what happened is, without realizing, you supplied me with consistent work. I ran around town. Oh, this guy's a good guy. He gave me good work. But I didn't see the millions or the billions or nowhere near the money that these people were making, because I was working my whole life to make their dreams come true, not my own. I was working hard because I was stuck in survivor mode, trying to stabilize a life that I wasn't used to. And why I'm working so hard just to be stable, just to keep my head above water, I was making other people very successful. And I didn't learn. I thought there was a difference from where we came from, what we go through. And this is what made them, what I thought at the time, better than me at doing certain things. And what I didn't realize is nobody's better than me. Just like no one's better than you. It's just honest self-belief and choosing a path. You know, I had a point in life where I believed that I can do this all alone. I thought I was worthy. And it took me a time. I spent quite a few years screwing my life up. And I was stuck in a rut because the people that surrounded me was living the same type of life. I accommodated my nonsense. But now in life, I started to accommodate my brilliancies. So I want you to push and do better. Do not compare yourself to past people who claim to ride the same journey. It's no way that we rode the same journey, because my body, my thoughts, my mind is my vessel. You haven't stepped in these shoes to ride this journey. And you have to know the one thing, I even tell my family, the one thing you offer the world, inside this entire world, that's uniquely unique, is individuality. You may not be perfect in everything that you do, but you are perfectly the person that you was born to be. And when you present who you are for what you are at any mass, no one could imitate it. No one could be like you. You are the gift that the Supreme have gave this world. That's your quality, to be the perfect you, perfectly the way you are, and accepting the way you think, the way you see things. Grow confidence inside your skin. And now, like I was saying, you're going to fight these journeys. There are going to be obstacles. People are going to subside you. People ain't going to believe you. They're going to take you for a joke. It is on at your own will to have your own confidence, self-confidence. Listen to the word, self-confidence. Do not lie in other people's hands or their eyes or their minds or their hearts. Self-confidence comes and generates from you for who you are and what you've been through, and nobody could take that from you. We're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come wrap up the King's Path of Success. I hope, what I fight to do every time is establish belief in yourself. So I hope I'm establishing it, and I hope we're building together. But I'll see you in a second. We're going to take a small break. Peace, gods and earths. We're here to wrap it up for today, but I just want you to know I really enjoyed my time talking to you guys. And I hope, anything that I say or everything that I say seeps into the mind. And I hope you find inspiration or motivation in the things that I say. Every week I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you positive advice. I'm going to start bringing some guests in that will strike your interest, throughout the community. And I'm going to start, hoping that you reach out, contact me. I'm currently recruiting for both classes. If you're interested in applied entrepreneurship for reentry, I'm recruiting for Waterbury and Bridgeport for MAID courses. If you're interested in the University of Bridgeport Entrepreneurial Network, I am recruiting for UB currently for classes for MAID also. And like I said, you can reach out to me any and all the time. And I hope today been a great day. So stay positive, stay focused, understand it's your journey, and don't let nobody set you back. And remember, you are enough. So stay looking good, feeling good. You've been on King's Path to Success with the King. I'll see you next week.